Lopez fires back. Takeover.
Step back.
Oh, and another over Cambosis.
And Cambosis was throwing this right hand over the top. We know that.
He's throwing that right hand off the jab. Too often in this fight, I've seen him kind of...
Lopez is having...
Sergio, when you go into a fight, and all of a sudden he's still, after 5 rounds, and
changes drastic everything that you thought was going to happen. What jab and just focus on the body. Both has just been backing up the...
another right
activity from Teofimo. Jab and formations.
Lopez has been knocked down, was in his perfect, got off the canvas and won by us. That was not the case here tonight.
Punches, but right here he needs to. Cambosis looking to. He's caught in between. Teofimo is.
And Lopez, like, what is this guy doing? It's supposed to happen.
There's Cambosis has done that.
Pivots away, takes the fight right. Just brilliant strategy right here by George Camp.
Seen a ton of that from either fighter.
Let's dive, Cambosis.
Welling over the nice right hand again from Cambosis. He's trying to... Oh, and a left hand right in the back.
And there's a right hand by Cambosis, but it's set up by the jab.
What is Cambosis doing different than Lomachenko?
Right off the bat, Teofimo has to...
Came into that fight with a little bit of power. Cambosis, during this fight, has shown any real respect for the power of Lopez.
Yeah, he had to get out of those early, which he did, and he took the...
You're not wrong, Sergio, but a pretty big dip bounce.
In this round. Oh, right hand, textbook work.
Teofimo's big shoulder.
Seeing.
Coming out, that was an amateur move. You got to keep that happen. You get knocked down. You don't respect the fighter at all on the score.
Undisputed, like Jessica McCaskill can call.
Teofimo Lopez, this range. To throw, just stand there, looking for one.
Make no doubt about it. This isn't a Lopez wanted. This is he wanted to dispatch and think about him again, send him back as other plan. Oh, nice uppercut.
Cambosis, he knows that this man's best.
Bosis told us, listen, if I get it, Lopez is in trouble. Well, we're about to head to the 8th.
And there's that jab, and once again, that right hand. Teofimo cannot get away from that.
Upsets of the year on the canvas in round 1, and then held his own. And it's been ring rust has something to do with it, or was it simply overkill? See in the corner of Lopez.
Urgency to Teofimo Lopez to throw that jab more. Don't just flick it out, follow it up with right hands.
And there's Chris Manning's scorecard, 4 points ahead.
Control over these landing, cleaner shots. Great work in there.
In the middle of combination, Cambosis comes right back.
So it Manning's scorecard that George Camp not here with us tonight, but he might be watching. Either way, Camp 3, if he doesn't make mistakes, but all it takes someone is. He goes, listen, I know George Cambosis said, talking himself up, back down an inch. I'm gonna knock overhand.
That hurt.
Cambosis bouncing on his.
Body shot on the inside by Lopez.
And they wing it out at the end of the round.
Right hand there by Teofimo Lopez. Later in the round, Cambosis held his own with body shots.
Both landing a fight-high 19 punch.
Hold his own in the exchanges.
Cambosis, one thing he said to us, I have been sparring, including a stint sparring, confidence to be able to do this.
Let's send it up again, Chris out.
Making everything work right now. Teofimo has lived fast, and now he expected to be over already.
Chris Mannix has Cambosis Jr.
That with Mickey Bay in the state there with Lee Selby. Wait, he leaves it up to the backyard.
8.95 landed for Sergio.
It really is, and I'm just frustration with Teofimo. He wants to land last thing you should do when you're frustrated. Go back to the simple.
Coming in, Teofimo Lopez, because...
Well, ran again hand. Cambosis looks unsteady. Best teeing off.
look right now on Teofimo Lopez's anxiousness.
The crowd buzzing, they sense some.
Just can't get hit with those shots. That Teofimo's bound to catch. Big right hand by Teofimo Lopez landed flush, and that's the first time I've seen Kambosos show weak.
And continue the momentum. Native by way of Brooklyn.
Yes, absolutely. It's in the air. Ferocious look in his eye.
Can't abandon his game plan. He's got to keep rounds. Was that he was Pez brilliantly. Can't slow down that
9 full rounds, and it's getting closer.
4 in favor of last round, the 9th round.
Oh, and is that a knockdown? It is!
It was a chopping right hand that he landed in that past fight.
Lopez is one of the better finishers in boxing. A minute 45 now.
Let's see how much this has left. Try to go toe-to-toe. Going for Campton and right.
Here, Lopez, don't just, and Harvey Dock, the red score, knockout that way.
Finally starting to talk track.
What a roll. One punch. But the momentum shifted with that.
This feels like a missed opportunity. If even threw punches, I would have picked up a stoppage.
It's Harvey what comes in. Kambosos like that.
What a battle here. We could have asked and more.
We've seen an incredible heart from Jordan.
Just burying it.
Pushed himself out a little bit.
Both these guys, he was fighting in front of a mirror.
White George with that jab, set him up with the right hand.
It could very well come down to these. Both men have been down. 494.
These all belong to a tremendous rally.
Counter right. And everything's land.
From there, everything gets set up upstairs. That's a...
Oh, and a nice right hand keys out. He gets right back in.
His eyes open.
Looking
Target
on.
that right eye.
Gash over the left eye of Low.
Question trickling down the left side of his eye. It's Kambosos.
Lopez is just looking for that around Lopez. And all with that jab.
You know, I don't think Teofimo fought in these last 3.
It's overconfidence. It's a perfect storm of rounds.
Seemingly was giving this round away.
Now the question is I didn't see a clash of heads in this round.
Neither did I. The right hand.
Cut right now, dive Teofimo Lopez.
Good catch. Just what a round for the Australian. He's and a right hand.
Here's a left hand slash uppercut slash jab.
Teofimo Lopez, the quarter tried its best to bleed it.
They will not stop this fight.
To win the 12th.
Last year, he may have to dig deep in this round and win this.
Kambosos up by one.
Picked up the 1 round away.
He looked down and out. He's gassed in the 10th, 11th. Can he win the 12th? Right hand, winding up the right hand. It seems like Lopez still.
And Sergio, this is what those months, all those father died. He kept training. He has for this moment for a long time.
Blood continues to pour out of the Teofimo Lopez. Many thought of in the park for a hellacious 12. Under a minute to go.
Kambosos is not going in. The power of Teofimo. He is still back.
To go. Australians to be going crazy.
Botting this 12th round.
10 gets left.
George Kambosos just fought.
What a...
And the new IBF, WBO, WBA, WBC franchise, and Ring Magazine lightweight champion of the world, George Ferocious Kambosos.
These fights with just grappling, and that's what he was doing. Now at 40 years old, you still have it to show it to the next generation of guys.
He's giving up 11 years to Sosa,
Nothing but
5 inches in height.
Yeah, but he's got 5 inches more around the chest.
It kind of reminds me of you at the buffet. Remember we're going for breakfast as your eggs are being cooked. You get all nervous.
I tend to overindulge at the breakfast buffet here at the
Oh my goodness.
hotel.
You and I both. Here we go. No touching of the gloves. Kitaoka wants nothing to do with that.
I'm not mad at him.
I mean, how do you see this fight breaking down, Frank, other than the obvious? I mean, even though,
Old guard is new guard.
yeah,
New game.
despite the 20 submission wins for Kitaoka,
Well, they're all very, armbar, triangle, plata. They're very basic. I don't want to say basic. I'm not disrespecting jiu-jitsu at all, but it's the very basics, the ones that we learn as white belts, the very first set of things. And Souza is very much more than that. He's got submissions from different angles, different positions.
I mean, his setups. Oh wow! He lands right, so does Kitaoka.
But Souza doesn't like to get hit. Kitaoka doesn't mind getting hit.
Yeah.
That could be the upset of the fight. Well, now they're grappled up. There's no way Souza's letting go, ever.
But he's got to deal with a lot of power and strength here.
Yeah.
This is where technique is extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look at that. He rolls for the leg, trying to use that for a takedown. And now it's Kitaoka that's got the one arm underneath and the head.
Wow.
I'm sure the knee's going to do much. Doesn't have the base set. Now he does.
Pinch his elbow down. Pinches his elbow down. Ooh. Yeah, I know, right?
And this is not where he wants to be. Well, he's smart at scrambling back up to the top position.
He's cut. His knees worked.
Underhook here by Kitaoka.
Cut wide open. It was a big split. Those knees work. We didn't think those knees were doing much
I don't
damage.
think, was that from the knee or from when they hit the mat?
I thought it was from the knee.
That will be utterly off. I see a replay and those knees landed like that. Interesting to note. Look at where the cut is. Is it above the eye? I'd like to get a different camera angle here. We can't see it from where we are. Oh, it is just above.
That's just above the eye.
Just above the eyebrow.
It wasn't that knee because I hit it on the right side.
Yeah. Nope.
Not that knee either.
Nope. Jason Herzog's informing us it is a big cut.
In the eyebrow.
Yeah.
So if it opens up, it could be a problem because you can't see.
Huge problem because the blood will drip right into his eye. See Kitaoka just staring at it. He's hunting now.
See, smart. Not see?
Yeah, he knows.
He keeps walking into that knee, though.
Does he really want to go for a takedown here?
Bail out for your head.
Oh, I don't think it's a good idea.
You got to get in a position when you do.
But he's able to pass the guard.
When you end up on top, you have to be able to strike. with a guy like this. If you can't start striking at Souza, he's going to just tie you up and get in a submission position. And that was a bad position for Kyoka to try to take him down. His head was caught.
Kyoka trying to get around the referee. Loading up that left. There it is.
He's running into his elbow.
Oh, you can see the wobbliness there of Souza. Again, he's loading up for that right kick. This Souza, nice job. 42 to go here. Spin attempt there, yeah.
Spinning nothingness.
Now he's jogging on the spot. It's not like we're surprised.
Souza just needs a jab. Keep on the outside and get frustrated and charge in and give him a takedown. Just keep jabbing him.
You can just see it.
Kick him.
Yeah.
That
you
one
just see him through that right foot behind and then just spin it out. Souza's actually doing a very good job of cutting off the space. Going to go here. First of 3 rounds. We're scheduled for 3. Yes, elbows are allowed in this one. Distance is diminishing between these two. They're getting closer and closer. Despite the fact the power that Kyoka brings, it's actually Souza throwing those jabs, throwing more strikes, landing those lefts non-stop. These guys are throwing bombs here.
But look, he's taking a big step back.
Yeah.
He's stepping his little jabs and little jabs. He steps inside Kyoka and hits with 2 big heavy shots every single time. Nice head kick.
Jumping knee there, trying to catch him off the ropes. Hit him in the eye. Round 1 has come to an end. Roberto Satoshi Souza, 10 years younger, 11 years younger than his opponent, Satoru Kyoka, in his 70th professional fight. Now, the real question is this. If you are in Souza's corner, Frank, what are you telling him?
Keep jabbing, keep him on the outside. Don't charge him. He's going to come at you. You're going to frustrate him with that jab, get a straight jab in his face. Every time he comes in, he's going to try and shoot. You want to use that to your advantage. Don't be scared. Don't try to stop the takedown. Let him take you down so you start rolling him up and use the momentum to end up in a position that you want to end up in. If I'm in Kyoka's corner, I'm telling him you have to keep moving your head left and right. You can't keep down the center because you're going to keep catching the jabs. You got to try to hit him with heavy power shots. And then when you take him down, make sure that you are past his guard and in a position to strike and try to finish.
Clearly, he's got no fear in exchanging toe-to-toe with him. With the strength, despite the fact that his opponent has more submission victories than he does have fights, he's a 4-time World Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion. The strength belongs there.
Use what brought you to the table.
He's got to be very careful with that gash over his left eyebrow, or on his left eyebrow. And that's a right hand there, and now he's got 2 jabs there.
Doesn't like to get hit. So you can tell he's backing away and like flailing in his defense, but he's so much longer. He's able to catch him, and this is what he wanted. See, you know, keep him out. Eventually, he's going to shoot on you.
Get the Kyoka with a nice takedown there. He's inside control. Yep, he's inside control. Now this doesn't really, it wouldn't concern so much.
Oh,
but he's allowed to strike.
Kyoka's cutting.
Is he?
Yeah, he's bleeding all over his arms. I see it inside. Not so much. You can't see it so much in the feed.
No, he actually just touched it now. He knows he's got it. And the referee saw that. Now he's stopping it. They're going to have a look at Kyoka. Oh, that's a nice gash. We're just over 1 minute into round number 2. First round, it was Souza getting checked out by the doctor. Same area. Looks like it's a no, it's actually higher.
It's eyelid.
Yeah.
It's eyelid. Her doctor told us it's eyelid.
Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать. Мы не отказываемся. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас на этот счет контакты есть с американскими партнерами. И диалог идет на этот счет. Он непростой, но я сейчас не буду вдаваться в детали, но в целом мне кажется, что мы говорим на понятном для друг друга языке. Надеюсь, что мы найдем решение. Но, повторяю, и американская сторона должна услышать нас и принять соответствующее решение, такое, которое и российскую сторону устраивает. Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать, мы не отказываемся. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас на этот счет контакты есть с американскими партнерами. Диалог идет на этот счет. Он непростой, но я сейчас не буду вдаваться в детали, но в целом мне кажется, что мы говорим на понятном для друг друга языке. Надеюсь, что мы найдем решение. Но, повторяю, и американская сторона должна услышать нас и принять соответствующее решение, такое, которое и российскую сторону устраивает. Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать, мы не отказываемся. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас на этот счет контакты есть с американскими партнерами. И диалог идет на этот счет. Он непростой, но я сейчас не буду вдаваться в детали, но в целом мне кажется, что мы говорим на понятном для друг друга языке. Надеюсь, что мы найдем решение. Но, повторяю, и американская сторона должна услышать нас и принять соответствующее решение, такое, которое и российскую сторону устраивает. Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать, мы не отказываемся. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас на этот счет контакты есть с американскими партнерами. Диалог идет на этот счет. Он непростой, но я сейчас не буду вдаваться в детали, но в целом мне кажется, что мы говорим на понятном для друг друга языке. Надеюсь, что мы найдем решение. Но, повторяю, и американская сторона должна услышать нас и принять соответствующее решение, такое, которое и российскую сторону устраивает. Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать, мы не отказываемся. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас на этот счет контакты есть с американскими партнерами. И диалог идет на этот счет. Он непростой, но я сейчас не буду вдаваться в детали, но в целом мне кажется, что мы говорим на понятном для друг друга языке. Надеюсь, что мы найдем решение. Но, повторяю, и американская сторона должна услышать нас и принять соответствующее решение, такое, которое и российскую сторону устраивает. Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать, мы не отказываемся. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас на этот счет контакты есть с американскими партнерами. И диалог идет на этот счет. Он непростой, но я сейчас не буду вдаваться в детали, но в целом мне кажется, что мы говорим на понятном для друг друга языке. Надеюсь, что мы найдем решение. Но, повторяю, и американская сторона должна услышать нас и принять соответствующее решение, такое, которое и российскую сторону устраивает. Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать, мы не отказались. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас на этот счет контакты есть с американцами.
Fight. Whenever he was a grappler, that's incredible. And you saw him in the beginning of the first round. He started landing more and more combos. He got in the second round, started landing more and more combos, and here we are to finish.
With all due respect, Frank, there's no way I thought that was going to happen. Unbelievable performance. There's the opportunity. He had to submit him.
He had the shot. Didn't need it, though. Didn't need it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Game over.
Who says you can't throw a 12-punch combination in MMA? Look at that. I mean, that technique is not 100%, but he's putting power into them. It's the 12th one that drops him. 13, 14 to finish him off. Referee said, no, we are done.
Great job. Great job by the officials. Great job by the involved.
I'm just looking over at Kitioko right now. He looked at his corner and basically asked him, what happened? What just happened there?
What happened was that you didn't have any defense. And you got hit in the head 12 times. That is what happened.
Oh, that is a gash. Jason Herzog was right. That's got to be an inch and a half there. My goodness.
Cute, close character. Give his kid something to poke on, stomping on his lap.
Oh my.
Speaking of which, on your, those of you who don't know, Joe's a soccer coach.
I am.
Kids soccer up in Canada. How's the last game of the season, right?
The last game of our indoor season took place yesterday morning, and happy to say my.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Ingram. This is the Ingram Angle from Washington tonight. The rogue resistance is out in full force.
Judge Alsop had the most scathing comments today. The judge said, you know what? You're lying.
Plus my exclusive interview with Vice President J.D. Vance. Can you rule out a recession, even a temporary one? You have like 47,000 people in detention, but you've run out of beds. What next? How do you get Congress to do what it is loath to ever do? Really cut spending. But first, shouting for relevance. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Now, during the first Trump term, she urged leftists to harass Republicans in public. And now at age 86, Mad Maxine Waters is sounding even more deranged. The equivalent of someone who's just throwing a match on a spill of kerosene.
I'm worried that Trump is on the edge of creating a civil war. I believe he expects violence. I believe he expects confrontation. I believe he's working toward a civil war. We're not going to get goaded. We're not going to get tricked into that.
Oh, she's out of her mind. Trump wants national harmony and a country united behind a new patriotic journey toward peace and prosperity for the middle class, for all Americans. But of course, nationhood itself, that's a threat to the far left. They despise America, and they don't even believe in borders. By extension, they loathe Israel and justify barbaric acts of Islamic terror. Now, we saw this play out today in Manhattan, where the NYPD was forced to get up close and personal with pro-Hamas loons who tried to take over Trump Tower. Now, these protesters have zero ability to engage in an actual debate on issues like immigration,
Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать, мы не отказывались. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас на этот счет контакты есть с американским партнером. Диалог идет на этот счет. Он непростой, но я сейчас не буду вдаваться в детали, но в целом мне кажется, что мы говорим на понятном для друг друга языке. Надеюсь, что мы найдем решение. Но, повторяю, и американская сторона должна услышать нас и принять соответствующее решение, такое, которое и российскую сторону устраивает. Мы не то чтобы отказались их возвращать, мы не отказывались. Мы хотим договориться, и эти договоренности должны быть взаимоприемлемыми и должны устраивать обе стороны. У нас
Oh my God! It's so much bigger in real life. Oh my God! bigger in real life. Oh my God. That's what she's here. Oh my God. It's so much bigger in real life. Oh my God. That's what she's here.
What? I don't get that at all. Fox's Eric Shawn tried to engage with them. This is how that went.
What are you protesting? Why are you here?
We're here in the name of peace, and we're asking for Mahmoud to be released. He was taken illegally by the ICE department. He was kidnapped by the United States government.
The ICE department. And the professors at Columbia coherent thought. They know immigration law, but they try to pass themselves off as intelligent warriors for civil rights.
His only offense has been exercising his constitutional rights to free speech and peaceful assembly. Now we're facing a horrifying reality that our own student, a member of the Columbia community, has become a political prisoner here in the United States.
The only political prisoner would it be a conservative on the Columbia campus. Give me a break. If national security concerns are implicated, determined by our Secretary of State, guess what? People with green cards, non-citizens, can be sent packing, period. Read the law. Now you may be wondering, who's actually behind these protests? Who's supporting them? Who's funding them? The Trump Tower sit-in was organized by the group Jewish Voices for Peace. Now, it has several chapters on college campuses across America, and it bills itself as a home for left-leaning Jews. It pushes the BDS movement, boycott, divest, and sanctions against Israel, and it gets its biggest funding from groups associated with George Soros, the Rockefeller Brothers Fund, and the anti-Israel Kaffen and Lannan Foundations. That's just to name a few. Now, remember, Soros himself has his hands in many protest pots, stirring up a toxic brew of anti-Semitism and anti-Americanism. Jerusalem Post writer David Ben Bassai put it starkly. Soros and his radical anti-Israel organizations that fuel hatred and encourage on campus.
Oh my God.
They're funded
It's so much bigger in real life.
Students for Justice.
Oh my God.
For misrepresenting itself in a COVID loan application. Basically not revealing that it's essentially, does political stuff. It just does research, yeah, right. But none of this matters. None of the facts matter to the crazies. Because these people don't care about the facts, and they don't really care about the law. This is all driven by emotion and by propaganda fed to them online and on college campuses, in the classroom and beyond. And if they could, a lot of these students would have majored in protesting. And you get the feeling that many of these characters, for many of them, protesting is almost a substitute for socializing. It gives them a sense of belonging, a sense of community. It's their entire reason for being.
Stop the bombs! End the killing! Fight like hell for the living! Stop the bombs! End the killing!
Do you realize what's happening? The moment Tulsi Gabbard dared to question the establishment, they branded her an enemy of the state, a decorated veteran, a former rising star of the Democratic Party, now labeled a threat to national security simply for speaking the truth. This isn't fiction, it's reality, and it's exactly what they didn't want you to hear. And now the truth was about to come out. Tulsi stepped into the hearing room, and instantly the entire place went silent. Every eye, every camera, every microphone was fixed directly on her. She wasn't there to play politics, she was there to expose it. The establishment had tried everything, lies, smears, threats to silence her. But here she was, lived before millions with raw truth. The tension was electric. America was watching, waiting, because in the next few minutes, secrets buried by the FBI and Democrats were about to surface, and nothing would ever be the same again. The room was packed. Cameras lined the walls, broadcasting every second to millions watching across the country. The air was thick with tension. On one side, Democratic lawmakers, intelligence officials, and bureaucrats sat stiffly, their expressions unreadable. On the other side, Tulsi Gabbard, alone, unshaken, ready. She leaned into the microphone. Her voice was steady, but her words cut like a blade. I used to believe in this system. I used to think the people in power were here to serve the American people. But I was wrong. A murmur rippled through the chamber. Some exchanged glances. Others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. I was one of them, she continued. I sat in the meetings. I listened to their plans. I saw the games they played behind closed doors. And I believed for a time that we were doing the right thing. That is, until I started asking the wrong questions. She let the words hang. Silence. They don't like people who ask questions, she said, her voice dropping lower. They don't like people who don't follow the script. And when you step out of line, they come for you. Someone cleared their throat. A Democratic senator leaned forward, tapping his pen against the desk. Ms. Gabbard, let's be clear. She didn't let him finish. No, she said, locking eyes with him. Let's be clear. I sat in this very room, side by side with many of you, thinking we were working for the good of the country. But what I saw, what I learned, is that this system isn't built to serve the people. It's built to protect itself, to protect you. The senator opened his mouth, then closed it. The cameras zoomed in. This was the moment the public had been waiting for. Tulsi took a deep breath. You see, the truth isn't complicated. It's simple, and that's why it terrifies them. She scanned the room, then spoke. I was part of the Democratic Party. I was celebrated until I questioned the narrative. I was invited to every major media platform until I refused to repeat the talking points. I was promised a future in politics until I exposed the corruption inside my own party. A pause, then a single sentence that sent a chill through the room. And if they could do that to me, imagine what they can do to you. The chamber fell dead silent. The weight of her words hung over them. This wasn't politics as usual. This was something different. She folded her hands, looking straight into the cameras. They don't want this hearing to happen. They don't want me to speak. And they certainly don't want the American people to hear what I have to say. A beat. But here we are. The tension was suffocating. Tulsi leaned back slightly. So let's begin. Let's talk about the FBI, she said clearly. Specifically, let's discuss their illegal surveillance of President Trump's campaign advisor, Carter Page. Immediately, a Democratic senator leaned into his microphone. Ms. Gabbard, careful now. These are serious allegations. Tulsi didn't hesitate. They're more than allegations, Senator. They're documented facts. The FBI obtained warrants using the Steele dossier, fully aware that it was funded by Hillary Clinton's campaign. They knew the information was fabricated, yet they pushed forward anyway. A Republican senator jumped in. Do you have proof? Tulsi lifted a document, turning it slightly toward the cameras. This is the declassified FISA application itself. It explicitly cites the Steele dossier as key evidence. A dossier everyone at the FBI knew was fake. James Comey, Andrew McCabe, Peter Stursock, they were all aware of this deception, yet they signed off regardless. The Democratic senator's voice tightened, frustration evident. Ms. Gabbard, you're painting a conspiracy theory here. This isn't theory, she cut in sharply. This is reality. They manipulated America's most powerful surveillance court to spy on a political opponent. They didn't just break the rules, they sabotaged democracy itself. The senator's tone hardened. You're suggesting our intelligence agencies are corrupt? I'm stating it outright, Tulsi replied calmly. They abused their power because the political establishment ordered them to. Donald Trump was a threat to their control, so they broke every rule to undermine him. Silence settled heavily across the chamber. Senators exchanged uncomfortable glances, realizing the gravity of the moment. Tulsi's voice softened but remained firm. If they could do this to a sitting president, think about what they can and will do to any ordinary American who challenges their authority. The room remained silent, tension palpable. Millions across America leaned closer to their radios and screens, absorbing every word. She leaned forward, locking eyes with the senators. This isn't politics as usual. This is dangerous, unconstitutional abuse, and the American people deserve accountability. A Democratic senator finally responded cautiously, and who exactly do you think should be held accountable, Ms. Gabbard? Without missing a beat, Tulsi stated decisively, start with the people who signed these warrants. Start with the officials who knowingly lied under oath. This isn't partisan. This is justice. No one responded. The chamber seemed frozen. America had just witnessed the establishment's facade begin to crumble, living in public. Tulsi straightened slightly in her chair, her words resonating through the room. The FBI's betrayal isn't just about politics. It's about whether America still belongs to the people or to those willing to abuse power at any cost. The silence following Tulsi's words didn't last long. She calmly reached into another folder, holding up an email for everyone to see. Now let's talk about Hunter Biden, she began, her voice clear and confident. A Democratic senator sighed impatiently. Ms. Gabbard, what does Hunter Biden have to do with today's hearing? Everything, Tulsi responded immediately, locking eyes with the senator. Right before the 2020 election, the American public learned about Hunter Biden's laptop, filled with evidence of questionable dealings with Ukraine, Russia, and China. But within hours, 51 former intelligence officials signed a letter declaring it Russian disinformation. She paused, letting her words settle before continuing. And who organized this deception? Tony Blinken, President Biden's own campaign advisor at the time, coordinated the entire effort. A wave of whispers filled the chamber. The senator leaned in again, clearly uneasy. That's quite a claim. Do you have something to back it up? Tulsi nodded calmly. I do. This is an email from former CIA Director Mike Morrell to John Brennan. Allow me to read. John, can I add your name to this letter? We need this to give Biden a talking point against Trump during Thursday's debate. The room erupted into murmurs. The senator quickly attempted to regain control. Ms. Gabbard, even if that email exists, that doesn't mean... It means exactly what it says. Tulsi interrupted sharply. It means intelligence officials intentionally misled voters to protect Joe Biden. It means they interfered in our election. This wasn't about national security, it was about politics. The senator hesitated, visibly flustered. Cameras zoomed closer as the tension rose. Another senator broke the silence, sounding skeptical. Are you suggesting they deliberately lied? I'm not suggesting, I'm proving it, Tulsi countered immediately. The laptop was real. The FBI knew it, the media knew it, and yet this letter gave them cover. They branded the truth as Russian propaganda, influencing the outcome of a presidential election. She lowered her voice slightly, leaning closer to the microphone. Think about what that means. Top intelligence officials, trusted to protect America, willingly spread false information to ensure their candidate won. No one moved. The gravity of Tulsi's revelations filled every corner of the chamber. This isn't about Hunter Biden alone, Tulsi continued calmly. It's about systemic corruption, deception, and manipulation at the highest levels of government. They gambled with democracy itself. A senator finally broke in, his voice strained. Ms. Gabbard, what's your end goal here? She didn't hesitate. Accountability, real accountability. Because if the intelligence community can manipulate an election without consequences, our democracy means nothing. She paused, looking directly into the camera, as if speaking straight to America. The American people deserve to know who betrayed their trust, who lied to their faces, and who turned our own government against us. And today, senators, the truth is finally out. Tulsi took a slow breath, ready to strike again. She knew her words were rocking the establishment. Let's move beyond elections, she began sharply. Let's talk about how the FBI is systematically targeting ordinary Americans today. A Democratic senator cut in fast. Ms. Gabbard, the FBI targets threats, not citizens. Really? Tulsi fired back. Then explain why Catholics at Latin Mass and parents at school boards are now FBI targets, labeled extremists for speaking out. Explain why parents who speak out at school board meetings are being secretly monitored. Are these the threats you mean, Senator? The senator hesitated. Those were isolated incidents. No, Tulsi snapped. These are deliberate. The FBI is building a system to silence anyone challenging Biden's agenda. The senator pushed back, clearly agitated. That's a serious accusation. And I have proof, Tulsi said firmly. Here's an FBI memo. It tells agents to watch parents who question school policies, calling them threats. Silence filled the chamber again. Senators exchanged wary glances. Tulsi's voice grew sharper. And it didn't stop there. Just 24 hours after I publicly criticized Kamala Harris, I was placed on the Quiet Skies Domestic Terror Watch List. A decorated veteran, former congresswoman, now a threat? Why? Because I dared to speak out. The Democratic senator tried again, weaker this time. Ms. Gabbard, perhaps there's some misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding, Tulsi shot back quickly. They put me on a watch list because I threatened their narrative. This administration has weaponized our own intelligence agencies to silence critics. Parents at school board meetings, journalists exposing corruption, religious Americans. Anyone who dares speak the truth is now considered a domestic extremist. She paused, letting the impact of her words sink deep into every listener. This is about control, she said calmly. They're using fear and intimidation, weaponizing the FBI against citizens who simply want transparency and accountability. A Republican senator leaned in, voice firm. How widespread is this practice, Ms. Gabbard? Tulsi nodded thoughtfully. Far more widespread than people realize. This is the new normal. Surveillance, intimidation,